Good evening, and welcome to the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast for our very special NWA Crockett Cup edition. And as usual, I'm the host, Adam Cousins. It's a rare weekend that we do these, but we are doing it on a weekend today. And my co-host, well, we can't have an NWA podcast, especially when we talk about a cup that she normally goes to watch. Welcome, as always, the lovely Fiona. How are you?
I am marvelous, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. How was your weekend of shows?
It was pretty good, yeah. We had one Saturday, one Friday, one Saturday, so day off today, but it's been a pretty hectic weekend, so glad to have some downtime. Can't complain.
I'm happy to be on a podcast after watching my son's soccer game. Sorry, on Saturday. It was quite intense for an 8-year-old. Anyway, digress. We're not here to talk about soccer. No. We are here to talk wrestling, and we have one half of the NWA US Tag Team Champions, Mr. AJ Cazana. Good afternoon to you, I believe.
Oh yeah, good afternoon. How you guys doing?
We're
Good,
great.
thanks.
Happy birthday as well.
Thank
Yay! Happy
you. I
birthday!
will. I will. I appreciate it. I will apologize because I did plan on being by the pool all day today, but I planned the last second Disney World trip,
Oh,
so I'm
nice.
currently on my way there.
Damn, I have to give Mickey Mouse a power driver or something when I go in Orlando in January.
Just give
But
him a good lariat.
yeah, good old Lariat. Yeah. AJ, no, again, thanks, especially on your birthday, for taking the time out to speak to us. We're very much appreciated. But I was reading up the other day, and I called you a multi-generational talent because I hear that potentially you're a fourth generation and not a third.
It depends on how you look at it. So you
Yeah.
got my great grandfather who started in 1933.
Yep.
Uh, my pop started in 1986, and they both had in-ring careers that were, I mean, maybe not well decorated, but um, lengthy, successful. They made money, they put food on the table, and they traveled the world. Uh, and then so the question becomes: do you consider my grandmother, who sold tickets at the TV studio in Chilhowie Park, and when they were putting 35 to 4,500 people in Chilhowie Park on Wednesday nights, like, do you consider her a part of the business? And is that a generational thing? Because that would make me, and now my brother just broke in, that would make both of us fourth generation wrestlers. So
Yeah.
it's a good argument to make. It doesn't matter because I've surpassed everything that I think that either one of them have done. And I mean that in the most respectful way
Yeah.
possible to both of them. Uh, but it's an argument you can make that I'm a fourth generation wrestler instead of just simply a third generation wrestler.
Yeah, definitely.
So
When you're a third generation talent and you're sort of going to get an independent book and stuff like that, do you find that promoters do they expect more from you, or do you feel a bit more pressure because your family lineage?
a little bit. Most of that comes from people think that I've been in this longer than I actually have
Yes.
been. I'm approaching three. It'll be 3 years in August,
Yeah.
and people think I've been in 10, 12 years. Um, but and then I mean they get there and then they see, like, when you see me, like, people that know wrestling know that I do still make, I make mistakes that young wrestlers are going to make because I'm, again, like, barely 3 years in. Uh, but the pressure to, because the dude, when I broke in, I was with, like, we were going someplace. I was with my tag team partner. We were going places, and he had been around for a while, but they were expecting me to work like their trainees and be able to lead their hell, dude. I can barely lead match, but like they were expecting me to lead their trainees 1, 2, 3 months into this thing, and that, you learn as much from that as you do wrestling world renowned superstars. But
Yeah.
um, no, I think I don't know. Yes and no. Pressure because people think I've been doing it for a decade, and then no because people are usually pretty cool and my style of wrestling's not something that's really, I guess, high pressure. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's a good way to describe it. I don't do all the flippy stuff, the cool stuff. I just lay lumber and punch people. You got me?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, the old school way, which is great. But when you started, you didn't really want to be into where the family have gone. You wanted to play football, right?
Oh yeah, I played football for almost 20 years and went to the University of Tennessee in Knoxville, Tennessee, with the dreams and aspirations of the NFL, and that got cut short, and I just took some time off. And there's an existential crisis. If I don't have football, what do I have? Let myself go a little bit, drinking, eating, not working out, and then got into wrestling out of nowhere with my dad at his retirement match, and it bit me like a snake, and I've been infected ever since.
It's crazy. That's mad, because obviously, with everyone been in the business from the family side, it would have, I suppose, it would have been easy to get in there, but obviously it's not easy to become a wrestler. But to have that kind of segue from it, because a lot of NFL, a lot of football players break into wrestling nowadays. Anyway, it's kind of the thing. I think even WWE, for example, even look for that kind of talent now when they do the Level Up series. They're looking for that sort of
their little
talent.
NIL deals that they've got, the next in line stuff. They are looking for strictly just athletes, like high caliber athletes. But the downside of just being a high caliber athlete and not having the slightest clue about professional wrestling is the psychology behind it.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what, who was it? God bless. I don't even remember. I'm not going to name drop anybody because I don't want anybody to get in trouble, but I have heard from people that yeah, man, they can run through the spots. They can do all the athletic stuff. They can do this and that. They can do crazy of it and interact with the fans.
Yeah.
So it's the psychology and the fans. Like I tweeted out today, I woke up and chose violence. I was being, I saw something. I was like, I saw this really cool series of moves and stuff. And start looking at the crowd to put on a match that everybody's engaged in and they remember. So they can keep their NIL stuff. If they ever want professional wrestlers, they know where to look.
Yeah, I think I tweeted you back about that, because I was like, when I'm a fan, when I watch it, I'm tunnel vision. Like, I'll be watching because I like to study it. And I could never be a professional wrestler. I wouldn't even have the first. I've done wrestling in school for about a month. Realized that quite quickly and painfully that it's not going to be for me. But what I see now is you look at the opening of, say, a Monday Night Raw or a Dynamite, and there's people just literally with their phones up like this. And when you're watching a match, I'm trying to study and look at this, because ultimately you're trying to tell a story when you're in the ring, and you can't really understand the story if you're sitting there like this with your phone in your hand.
People nowadays, you've got unlimited knowledge at your fingertips.
Yeah.
Like literally, you can look anything up in a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
And we're a dumber society for it. But we also, people want to live behind screens. But again, I'm going to Disney World. They've got the happily ever after fireworks in Magic Kingdom, and there'll be thousands of people in the little the center courtyard there, and most of them will have their phones up, recording it. And I'm usually with somebody, or I've met somebody because I'm a talker. I like talking to people. So I rarely meet a stranger. But I tell people, it's like, you can find this exact firework show on YouTube under the Disney, and it's high definition. It's better camera than your cell phone's going to get. It goes where it needs to go with all the projections and the fire. I'm like, you people are living behind the screens and not living in the moment.
Sure. Yeah.
And I know, like you had, somebody had said something, whoever else tweeted back said something about 80s and 90s crowds. And, it kind of gave me the idea. It's like, what if, how could you do it to where people cell phones for 2 hours? Yeah. It's like, hey, here's the lock boxes, put your cell phones in it, whatever, step away from the technology, we're going to have cameras there. We record all our shows.
Yeah.
High quality, Super Jaw Productions does it out of North Carolina. Like, we pay them to do that, and they do a hell of a job.
Yeah.
We have photographers there.
Just live in the moment.
Yeah. And like, put your phones up, live in the moment. Like, I understand like emergencies might happen or whatever, but I would like, that may be something, you know, you challenge people at the beginning of the show. Hey, leave your phones up. If you want to take pictures, do it, but don't live on your cell phone.
Yeah. I remember
even bad matches, you can find something to get into. Like, we don't put on bad matches. We may put on some matches that may confuse some people sometimes.
Mm.
And we're trying to eliminate those and everything. We're growing as a promotion, but like, just live in the moment. Stop, because you're not even taking it when you're looking at it through a screen. You're not even taking in the actual event. You're watching it through your screen. Hell, dude, you can do at home on YouTube. Pocket Cup. You could save your money, sit at home, pay for the Fight TV app, have all your friends over, and spend less than $1 a person.
Exactly.
Like, you're there to enjoy it, have a few beers, get a little loose, have a good time.
It's exactly what I've done. So one of the things that I will always take with me is when I went to the WrestleMania, and the next night Brock Lesnar come back, and like it was so good for me, because as a fan I literally leapt out of my seat. I was going crazy. And it made me feel, when I come out of it, people are like, oh, I've got this video when it, the crowd pop. And I was just like, I was part of that crowd pop, and I was happy to be a part of that than rather be like this, because it was it was this amazing thing. We'd heard that he potentially was there, but when his music hit, it was just like, for me, as I said, I literally leapt out of my seat. I probably even jumped down a couple of stairs when he come out, and it was just not having to have that phone. It was in my pocket at that time. For me,
I've seen CM Punk come back. I watched that live.
Yeah.
You're never going to get that pop. You're not going to get the same feeling through a recording that you will in person.
Exactly.
And like Carlito in Puerto Rico, I can't imagine being. And then him, like, Bad Bunny. Say what you will about Bad Bunny, but the brothers got the Jericho. I call it the Jericho effect, where they sing your song.
Yeah.
And it's the perfect place for him.
Yep. Yeah. And he's their top merchandise.
We did something out about it. And I've been in situations significantly smaller, but you can know what that feeling's like, but like to live in the moment and being there and feeling that in person instead of being on your screen, like, man, I got that. It's like the screen's never going to live up to being there.
No.
Ever.
Exactly.
But, I don't know.
Exactly.
I'm 30 now. I'm an ornery old man. I've already yelled at clouds today.
I'm nearly 40. Don't go there.
I think
shaking my fist
point,
at some kids.
The both of you just need to thank you very much regarding the age thing. We'll just stop there.
I've done this to kids today. Get off. I'm in a car. Get off my lawn.
I done that to my son on Saturday, but that was for a very different reason. When he was playing soccer, as you guys call it over in the States, he was. Let's just say the temper got the better of him, and he's channeling his inner self. What we're going to do, AJ, now is we're going to segue slightly and play one of our little games that we have on the show. One of them, which is I will just throw a wrestling name at you, and you will tell me the first word or phrase that comes into your head when I'm interested. And Fiona, yes, we'll play on this one.
Okay.
Okay. The first one is Roman Reigns. AJ.
I was going to say ladies first. I am a gentleman after all.
B.
Roman Reigns. I just think of the Shield. I just think of the Shield.
Yeah. Shield
for me.
I'm just going to say God mode, because that's
what
I think
the one.
The one.
The one.
Yeah, he currently is at the minute.
The one. The best heel in wrestling right now.
He is, and I have to say that. And the best storyline in wrestling as well. It has been for a number of years. In my opinion, anyway. I'm not talking for everybody here. You can disagree. Next one on the list, no longer with us, but a great competitor, Scott Hall.
you want I can go like Scott Hall to me.
Definitely.
I can't really just choose one word for him. I had the pleasure of doing some shows with him in the UK before he passed away. I loved him. He was brilliant. He was entertaining. And Razor Ramon is just, he's Razor to me. He'll always be Razor to me.
Yep. AJ, did you have one too before Fiona's one?
Yeah, the bad guy. That's the only thing I think of.
Yeah, the bad guy.
Bad times don't last, but bad guys do, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
I had machismo because that was one of the things that his first promo when he had. He said he was oozing machismo as he was walking down, which was good. Next one's one of the women, Lita. AJ, Lita.
I got nothing. I can't tell you anything about Lita. I've never watched any Lita matches.
Really?
As bad as that might be.
Okay.
The only thing that comes to mind is it's not even it's a storyline, but
yeah. Pete? Mahoney. Yeah.
Already called her a whore. When the whole Edge thing on Edge and Matt. That's all. Like I saw that today, and that's about all I've seen about it. So
that's fine. Fiona?
She was one of my favourites of that period, basically. End of.
Yep, I'm going to say Team Extreme for me because that's what she was a part of. The next one you might know quite well, and he's actually coming on the show on Tuesday. EC3, AJ.
One of the most brilliant minds in professional wrestling.
There we go.
Regardless of how you feel about him personally. So,
nice one. What about you, Fee?
EC3. I didn't watch a lot of his stuff when he was Impact, but again, he's someone I've worked with and was great. And I actually have an 8x10 that he gave me after we did the shows, and he basically said to the best manager I've ever had to me, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to take that. So
that's fine. I've got the word trouble written down. I'm hoping he's not going to be trouble on Tuesday with me, but he's
I was going to say he's in trouble.
Oh,
that was something else that crossed my mind. In trouble. Right. He's got a handful June 3rd.
Oh yes, we'll touch on that in a minute. The next one is one of my favorite interviews I've done with the NWA guys, and it's Plunky.
God, I can't say enough about Plunkett. Journeyman's what comes to mind. Yeah. He's an all-around great guy. I would lay down my life for Jeremiah Plunkett.
Yeah. See?
Yeah.
I can't say enough good things about that man either, honestly. I love him to bits. He's fabulous.
I'm gonna say sweetheart because that's what he was when he come on. We had a great chat off and on air. He was a great guy. Finally.
So no, I'm good.
You good? Sure. Okay, last one. Raven. AJ, Raven.
Mysterious is what comes to my mind from the ECW stuff.
Yeah, go for it. B?
I'm pretty sure we covered this one before. I don't know a lot about Raven, so I really can't say very much on this one at all, unfortunately.
I can tell a quick story. So Fiona, you work for One Pro Wrestling, or you've worked for One Pro Wrestling. You've been a chauffeur for some of the wrestlers. When they were first involved, when they first was in business, they held an event. And it was not long after ECW One Night Stand with JBL when he punched Blue Meanie and busted all his eye open. So Blue Meanie was there, and so was Raven. And we had tickets at the time. You could do the press conference. You could go in and sit down and be a part of the press conference and ask questions. And some of us thought it was funny to wear the JBL top when we went. And if you come out the interval and they go to the tables and they sell their stuff, and then you can pay some money, get a picture and that with them. And I'll never forget Raven, when we went up to him to get an autograph, he just looks up at our shirt and I will swear on this, he just went, I fucking hate that guy. He just stand there. He was just there. But I actually think he's got a tremendous wrestling mind. I'd love to speak to Raven. I think he's a great, again, mind for business is fantastic. Anyway, moving swiftly on, let's talk about NWA. Now, I will start getting to NWA. I'm going to blame Fiona. Fiona used to. I've known Fiona for a good few years now, and before the podcast and all that stuff. As I said, she went on Inside the Ropes. We started talking through that, and she started tweeting, "I'm watching NWA tonight." It's like, okay, I remember NWA, but I didn't know it'd come back. And and she started going, and then she was like, "I'm flying out to see this and flying out." And I think the beauty of social media now, one of the things about the internet now, is that you can put an NWA on YouTube like you guys do, and it's accessible at any time, any place. Like, for an example, your the 6:05 show on a Tuesday, I will probably watch during my lunch break on a Wednesday, because obviously it's 11:05 in the UK before it's on. You're tweeting at 11:05, Fiona, saying it's on, and you're watching it at 11:05. I normally watch it the next day. And so you got me into it. And I must say, like, it really takes me back to the old sort of, I suppose the old NWA days, really, which is, the close, the intimate setting with the stage and the interview bit. And I started to really enjoy watching it now. And some of the guys there, obviously, that I know from the WWE, because in the UK and Scotland, I suppose we're two different countries now, Fiona, right? England and Scotland.
No comment.
Comment, yeah. We was pretty much WWE or WCW for the majority of our time before, TNA and stuff like that. So we never really got the opportunity to select. We never had a sort of territories as such either. And then the independents started. So start watching the NWA as I did, I really started getting into it. Some of the guys, as I said, like EC3, Nick Aldis was in it for a bit of time. So the British part there for me was great. But I really find it like it's such an intimate setting, and the crowd there are great. And it just takes me back to the old days. I mean, how do you find that the NWA compared to, like, you see these big events that WWE put on, but I just find it much more intimate and much more sort of fan interactive when you're there.
Is that for Fee?
No, it's for you. Sorry.
Oh, for me. Oh,
sorry.
No, yeah, absolutely. Like, the intimate settings are always great because you can interact with people more, and they're right there on top of you a lot of times, so you can. The emotion's way easier to convey to people that are 6 feet from you than instead of to perform for the people that are up in the nosebleeds at Madison Square Garden, right, or Dallas Cowboys Stadium, whatever. But I don't know. Yeah, the NWA is a very niche professional wrestling program right now. Niche. I don't know how you pronounce it.
We say niche.
I'm great with English words, but. Yeah, niche. I will say niche. We'll use the proper English.
English.
No, it's a great environment, and we're growing. And I've said this multiple times. If we don't have the money right now that AEW has,
no.
But I think our product's better. I'm not sure what you would look at as far as like money going in versus like an Impact.
Yeah,
but I think our product's better.
Yeah,
it's more traditional, more professional wrestling.
Yeah.
Instead of, again, it's crowd. Like, yeah, dude, we're doing stuff for TV, but it's crowd first.
Yeah.
Like, if we can convey and get emotion out of those guys and gals in the crowd, then it's obviously going to translate to TV fairly well. You just don't want to have like a house show match where you're just like, I move really slow anyway, like where you're just wasting a lot of time talking crap to one guy in the front row to get the reaction from everybody or whatever. But the intimate settings are all great. Like Tampa Studios was fun.
Oh, that was Florida great. I love that.
Florida crowd's a little weird sometimes. Chicago was insane.
It looked good. It looked really good.
It was very, very intimate. I think both. So they did two TV tapings, the pay-per-view the night before. I think 200 to 300 people is all they sold tickets to, something like that. And they're all, we were all on top of each other. And man, they were hot from the get-go on TV tapings. They were hot from the get-go on the pay-per-view. Like we wrestled the second match of the day and then the second to last match of the day TV taping. So
yeah,
we were there all day. But from the first match, they were hot. The second match, they were a little tired, understandably, but they were right back in it as soon as we walked through the curtains. Yeah. So it's always great. But no, man, I think the NWA's got something special. the intimate setting, the old school studio settings are always great. If we ever get back to like the PBS studios or whatever in Atlanta, those are always great. Sheesh, man. I don't know. I forgot the real question. The intimate studio is great.
Yeah,
it's
it was just literally about creating that kind of atmosphere, because you can have 70,000 people in a stadium, you can have 70 people in a stadium, and they can still make the same noise. It travels up at the end of the day, so it doesn't really matter the size of the stadium. But they've also just come back from Australia, didn't they? They've done a few shows.
Oh, yeah.
And again, that puts more eyes on that, NWA out there. And I think to be able to say, yeah, but we're on YouTube every week. And obviously their time zone's different to us, which is different to you guys in the States. So now you may see more of that kind of, the eyes on the prize, so to speak, because it's there for them. They don't have to have they don't have to put it on TV, or they can join Fight and watch the pay-per-views, and make sure you do. That's a plug. But at the end of the day, they can watch it on YouTube every week if they wanted to. And that's the beauty of, I think, you guys actually being on YouTube.
I think people are going to start moving away from TV anyway, like traditional cable, satellite, what have you, and going. You see streaming more than anything now.
Yeah.
I've always thrown out the idea of like I said, we run a promotion. I've thrown the idea out to Dad, if we could find out how to do it and make it cost effective, why don't we start a Roku channel? My dad does a podcast where he literally just brings people on and shoots the ish with them to keep it PG.
Don't worry about that.
And like they just have a good time. He'll ask them about whatever, building up to shows, building up the NWA stuff. But he's got that. We've got wrestling shows. We've got almost 100 episodes worth of the Wide World of Wrestling.
Yeah.
And we've got, if we wanted to add extra little content, Silas Mason is ridiculously entertaining at all times of the day. We've got guys like Devin Dixon, who is ridiculously entertaining when he starts talking. So I was like, Dad, why don't we start a Roku channel? I think the NWA.
I'd be all over that.
Well, I don't know. You guys have Walmart and stuff over there, right?
Hallmark.
Yeah, like a Walmart or
something similar.
Sorry. Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever big giant superstores where everything's pretty cheap, where you can get a 70-inch TV for $450 right now.
Oh, that's like Asda. We've got this version of Walmart, which is Asda.
Yeah.
And it's got Roku on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it already comes with Roku. You just download the app. If you start a subscription base, you do it, but like it's your app instead of like where we were doing stuff through Fight TV with the NWA. Because like I can imagine us having that beautiful, it's black background, the gold dome and the gold globe and NWA logo, and somebody downloads the app, clicks on it, and there's Power for the week, or there's you pay your $5 or $10 a month to be able to watch Power live. You pay $5 a month to watch Power live and get access to all the YouTube channels and whatnot, podcasts, because they do their podcasts. I don't know. There's money to be made, I think, through streaming more so than regular TV, but it's all available via YouTube. So that and in Australia, they were performing in front of people who weren't there for wrestling.
No,
but by the end of the day, right? By the end of the day, they're into it.
Yeah, exactly.
They like it, and they've grown the brand, and there's people in Australia now that know who the National Wrestling Alliance is.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's the most important thing. It's as I said before, it's the eyes on the prize. Speaking of prize, and before we get to the Crockett Cup, I want to leave that till last, because it's a prestigious tournament and I want to cover that off. One last game that we're going to play, and then I'm going to ask you one more question, and then we're going to the Crockett Cup. This game is just simply a random question game. Some of them are wrestling related, and some of them are not. And it's only you that's playing this, so you just have to give us the answer. The first one is the first arena, the arena that you'd most like to perform in that you haven't done already.
I'm going to go Madison Square Garden or the Tokyo Dome.
They're the two ones. Yeah, they're the two ones that we get the most, MSG or Tokyo Dome. We do. So this is a non-wrestling related question now. When you're in a restaurant, are you a main course guy, or you got a sweet tooth like me and look at the dessert menu first?
Main course all the way. Give me all the red meat you can.
Which follows me up into another question about food, because I've just literally been out for dinner, so excuse the food questions. How do you like your steak cooked?
Medium rare.
Yeah, like me. That's it. I like that. That's me. I'm a medium rare guy. I will get back to wrestling now, honest. This is the one that stumps a lot of people, and I think it's because there's so many great songs, but the best wrestling entrance theme song.
It's mine.
Yeah. I love it.
We currently outside of the National Wrestling Alliance, I'm using "Violence Is Golden" by John Fogerty, the former lead singer of the Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Yeah.
I've got a special version of it where we cut out like the first minute's just a lot of weird guitar, kind of steel guitar, weird like Indian guitar or whatever, like the Beatles. I don't know, little weird sounds. But then he gets into like the guitar, like it starts there, and then just violence is golden.
Violence is golden. I've got that written down. I want to see if I can, when I tag this, say this video's up, I want to see if I can find it on Instagram or something to see if I can tag it and make it, good for the theme music for you to have on, which would be good.
As long as John Fogerty doesn't come after me for copyright infringement or anything.
Yeah, if anything, he'll come after me. So don't worry.
I mean, random question for you. Did you know that for the longest time he was unable to get rights to the Creedence Clearwater Revival music?
No.
Even though he sang it and wrote most of it?
Wow. I didn't know.
He had a big deal with him at some point. So
wow. I didn't know that. No, I must admit I did not know that.
Something like that.
So we go on to the last couple of questions. In your opinion, outside of the NWA, who's the most underrated wrestler that's currently around?
Outside of the NWA? Right now, I mean, dude, I don't know. Hell, that was the one that stumps people. So I can name a list of 5 or 6 dudes that. Yeah. So like Devin Dixon's one of we have a faction at Dad's promotion called we're the Total Violence Authority, the TVA. Yes. It's Devin Dixon, myself, Silas Mason, Big Lance just won his initiation match, so he's officially a member. And then we just introduced Audrey Allen as our hired muscle. So, but Lance is coming into his own. He's still very new to the business. But Devin can cut a hell of a promo. His in-ring work is Memphis style. It's great. He's great. There's a kid in West Virginia, I do believe, named Josh Williams. That's a little undersized. He wrestles. He talks like a heavyweight, wrestles like a cruiserweight. He's about 5'8", 5'9", but he's pretty built. He's got a good build on him. Southern is all get out. Guys like Axton Ray, he's been with GCW a few times. Yeah. He was at NWA in Knoxville, I do believe, for Power Live. I think he got a dark match there. Gustavo Aguilar is a guy that, like, I love him dearly. He comes out to Bailamos at independent shows, and it gets sang way louder than Fozzy ever does.
But
like I said, dude, I could keep rattling off names.
There's so many. There is so many.
There's so many. East Tennessee is a mecca of professional wrestling right now. It's not really a mecca. I'm not going to say mecca, but there's so much really good talent, high level talent in East Tennessee that's unseen and unheard of. And even like the Carolinas and stuff, there's a lot of great talent in the Carolinas. Yeah. But like it's especially in Tennessee because it has been stuck dry by bad wrestling and bad promoters for the last 40 years since Vince took over, last 70, however old WWE is, since Vince took over everything and the territories died. I feel like it's a lot harder for us to break out and have success. Yeah. Because you're from Tennessee. Who trains you? Your cousin Ricky in the backyard. You know what I mean? So yeah,
I feel like I've seen quite a lot of growth though there lately between like looking at your posts and Plunky's posts and Deals's posts and Alex Taylor's stuff. There's an awful lot going around all that whole area at the moment. I know, like, was it Friday night you had a big show Friday night, or was it last night?
Friday, last night. I should have showed last night, but Friday night, Joe Cazana. If you get a chance to look this up, Adam, Joe Cazana Promotions. Yeah. We've got all our stuff on YouTube. The last 2 shows aren't up yet. But this last show we ran Harriman High School. Yep. Which was ran by Smoky Mountain Wrestling in the 90s. One Glenn Jacobs. 1995, and we put.
Yep. Maybe I've lost audio slightly.
I got video now.
There you go. We're back.
You're back.
We're back. I was
We're
going to say, I think I went through a little dead area over here, but
That's all right.
no, we put almost 725 people in there, which is more than Smoky Mountain ever dreamed.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
we're doing something right. That's what I said. If you get a chance to look it up, man, you can see a lot of talent that we bring in. Most of it's local. We try to bring in guys and girls from North Carolina and stuff too. We try to bring in the people that are underrepresented and underrated that should have a chance with, or an AEW or Ring of Honor or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Right. Last question, and then we'll move on Crockett Cup. You have a choice here, AJ, and I know your football background. You can either be in the Super Bowl final or you can main event WrestleMania. What are you choosing?
Well, what's my contracts look like? I think that's the big question.
Yeah.
If I win a Super Bowl and I'm guaranteed 3 more years on my contract, then maybe that one. But I think at this point, especially, dude, I think main eventing WrestleMania would be the one.
The one. Because I remember you mentioned before that you still, that's your sort of aspiration to get a WWE contract. That's where the guarantee.
My goal in this business is to make life-changing money.
Yes.
And right now, I'm contracted with the NWA. I'm paid well. They take really good care of me. Billy Corgan messaged me this morning, happy birthday, which I've only had 2 other bosses, guys that I coached with, my head coaches. And I just kind of I can't be more appreciative of a man, him and Pat Kenny and all those guys, for giving me a chance and a platform to live my dream.
Yeah.
And again, and I think they know, like, if the WWE comes calling, it's one of those, like, hey, like, I have to do this. I can't say no, because again, but the gravitas, or I guess the power of the Fed, as I like to say, I would always come back to NWA. Oh, yeah. The National Wrestling Alliance is always going to be my home. It's always going to be a place I'm going to turn to and go back to, because they gave me my first chance, man. I can't. I'm loyal to a fault sometimes, but they've all treated me well, the locker room guys, and so yeah, WWE's life-changing money is the goal. Whether it's WWE, AEW, whatever. Yeah. But I think in 5 years, the NWA is going to be able to fulfill that for me.
Brilliant. No, that'd be great. And it'd be good to see you stay there if they can do it for you. That'd be amazing. Because again, it's always nice to have different flavors of ice cream, as I say, over here in the UK. So lastly, let's talk about it. Crockett Cup, one of the most prestigious cups in wrestling. What are for the Crockett Cup, what does this mean for you?
I mean, this is my first time being in it. I debuted at the Crockett Cup last year.
You did?
In March.
I saw that.
Against Big Strong Men's. That was my first match on a televised event for the NWA. And so to be back in it on the main card with Anthony and as the United States Tag Team Champions, as disrespected as I feel for the number 7 seed, I understand.
No.
What's people that are ahead of us. Well, you've got world champions and veterans and the class. I call them the class above, because me and Anthony are still, again, we're a newer tag team. Apparently the United States tag titles aren't enough to prove ourselves, but it just adds a little fuel to the fire. I think that number 7 spot is a good dark horse spot to go win the whole damn thing. So
I was going to say, do you think with the 7 spot, people might underrate you a little bit because they think, oh, you're just 7th, that you're maybe not going to be as dangerous as you could be?
I don't know if they know what they did to me, because I'm salty about it and I'm a little angry. Anthony has become the cooler of the two, the cooler-headed, level-headed one of the two. Because I do have spurts of just like, I'm super stubborn, and you're not going to tell me something. I'm not like, I'm just not going to believe like we're only number 7. Hell, we should be number 2 at least as far as tag teams are concerned. But again, I digress. I understand there's world champions and stuff in there, and Anthony said this on a podcast recently, and we were on it together, and he said like, you know, you look at the field of people, there's world champions, current world champions in it. Adonis is a former national champion. Trevor Murdoch and Mike Knox are in the bracket below us.
Yeah.
Trevor's a 2-time champion. You've got across the way, you've got Jack Stain and Blake Trooper over there, which I think that Chris Silvio may have lobbied for them to get as far away as possible from us. You got the Fixers who somehow squeaked their way in, kiss them out, or something to get into it. There's Aaron Stevens has his team on one side. There's the world champions are on one bracket and we're on the other, and there's a very good chance that you see that in the finals. I
was going to say you could even get you could even get Tyrus and Adonis in a couple of rounds if
so we all get the top 8 seeds get first round buys.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the structure looks at as far as like who's wrestling night 1 or how many matches are going to try to get in night 1, because again, you've got a main event, I believe, of Thrill Silas Mason versus the Overman EC3 for that national title. You've got a women's war, like team war match between Petty and Powered and Misa and Maddie and La Rosa and Samantha. I mean, you've got great matches on that card, so there's gotta be spots for them, obviously, and then so I'm thinking night 2 is going to be packed full of tag team wrestling. But yeah, we the first 8 get a first round bye, and it's very possible we see. And I hate to say this because I love Brian Brock to death, but I think that we see Kratos and Odinson in that first match in the Crockett Cup. The only thing I can do is go try to butter Brian's biscuits enough to where he might lay the lumber a little extra for us, you know, to soften them up, because I think I know Odinson thinks he's a god. Kratos is just a big meaty man, so I know he can throw some weight around. But there's a good chance to lock horns with Tyrus, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't want to, just to prove myself and to prove that there is a goal, that there is a chance that AJ Cazana may hoist that, he calls it the 12 pounds of gold at some point in the future.
Yeah.
Tag team wrestling is great. I'd love to be world tag team champions, but I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't want to be world champion.
Of course. Sure. Absolutely. But so, you've also got Devon's kids in it, TNT. Devon's
I've had an opportunity to get to work with them a couple of times, get to know them and be in the locker room with them. And we actually locked horns recently. We did come out on top. Me and I actually partnered with Beer City Bruiser for that one.
Okay.
So, I mean, we're just big, meaty men, and they're a little smaller than us. So I think our size may have shocked them a little bit. So the Hughes brothers, TNT, they're in that. They got now the AAA guys are what's got me thrown off.
Yeah.
If I'm being completely honest with you, I hope that we don't.
Yeah.
That would be the only ones I'd be like, I don't know anything about those guys.
Yeah.
And there's so many teams that you have to study for and you have to watch film on. That I mean, I've seen Kratos and Odinson. I know what both of them do. I know what Tyrus and Adonis do. I know I got to stay out of that master lock and stay away from that heart punch.
Yeah.
Knox and Murdoch are big brawling brutes, if you will, for some alliteration. Blunt force trauma, again, just big old boys, just popping people. You got Max and Judias is one that's got me. I've been watching a lot of them. I've worked with Judias. I've been in the ring with him a couple times and never crossed paths with Max the Impaler.
That could be interesting.
So that one, I watched some of Max's like Japan stuff and watch a lot of the NWA stuff, but to watch Max lock horns with big meaty men and like, because I mean the NWA's that we don't have a lot of small guys.
No, you don't.
No.
So to watch Max lock horns with people that are bigger will be interesting.
It will.
So I'm excited. There's a lot of studying I got to do, but man, I think we're in a good position to win this whole damn thing, honestly.
Certainly.
I'd be lying to you if I said that wasn't the goal.
No, of course it is. Absolutely. Not long to find out either. Only a few short weeks away from that event, which is going to be great.
Win that thing, grab a 12-pack or a 6-pack of Pabst, pour them in there, and just drink out of it all night.
Drink out. I'll join you for that. I like a beer. But it's been great, AJ, to talk. But let's plug away. Look, you got your dad's promotion. You got NWA. What's going on in your world in a minute? And how can people reach you on socials?
Well, first and foremost, Crockett Cup, be there. Don't miss it. It's going to be a great 2 days.
Yeah,
going to watch us win that. We're all debuting new gear, I'm sure. I've got some special gear coming in for that.
Nice.
Joe Cazana Promotions. If you ever get a chance, look it up on the YouTubes. We've got hundreds of episodes. Season 1 and 2 are up. We're working on this last couple house shows that we've done. We're working on to get those out. Tons of bonus matches. My Instagram is AJ Caz1.
Yep.
It's my personal Instagram, so don't be a creep. Or do be a creep and just pay me money to be a creep. Whatever. Twitter is AJ Cazana. Facebook is also AJ Cazana. I do have a page. I try to keep my personal Facebook more for wrestlers and family. So if you would just like my page there, that would be great. The biggest thing that we've got to promote, and I can send you the graphic for it. I don't know when you plan on putting this up, or if we're live now. I don't know.
No, we're not live. It will go up either tonight or tomorrow.
We've got the Country Gentlemen. The Hunt for the Cup shirts are live on angrylemonade.net now. We have a new design, limited time, just for Crockett Cup. Talked to Junior, big Mr. Lemonade, and we talked to him. I think we're going to go through June 4th, that second day, since we'll be in it through the end. So we'll do pre-sales. If you order it like today or tomorrow, there's a good chance you'll get it in person at the Crockett Cup. If not, he's going to order those, get those printed, sent out as fast as possible. There's no promises after today if they get in. But you will be one of the few people that get those nice. They're on Carolina Blue. It's got AJ Cazana. It's got the Looney Tunes version of Anthony Andrews. It's pretty great. It's got the date. It's got the time. It's got the place. And then all my other shirts, like my Country Gentleman shirt, my Brute from Boyhead shirts, all on angrylemonade.net.
There you go.
So
get them now.
Buy those shirts. I want to see hundreds of those shirts.
Buy those merch.
I figured Carolina Blue would be a great color because it's in North Carolina.
Yeah.
And it stands out in the crowd. All these black shirts that people buy, all these white shirts that people buy. How many times are you going to see a Carolina Blue shirt with my face on it?
Very rare.
This is it.
Love it.
Very, very rare. Right. I need to do a quick plug of the week on the Turnbuckle podcast. I've already mentioned Tuesday, we've got Mr. Trouble himself, the Overman EC3. Straight after EC3, we have our rescheduled one with Justin Credible from ECW. Wednesday, we have the British wrestler Millie McKenzie. Friday, Fiona, you are back, and we have Mr. Jack Stain joining us on Friday for another one. I have all the review shows as well going on this week, Raw, SmackDown, Dynamite. We have our first ever Double or Nothing predictions preview show next Sunday as well. Me and Dave will be back for that. But before we go, I have to promote the event that we are putting on ourselves here in the UK. Yes, we are partnering with Ignite Wrestling Pro to put on an event called Buckle Up. Tickets are already nearly halfway gone now. We've sold out of front. Seconds are very limited. July 23rd, massive card. My British wrestling talent Michael Oku has just signed up for it. He took on Chris Jericho in PWG. So we're sort of progressing through to that. We'll have some more podcasts with the guys from Ignite Wrestling Pro coming on as well. Guys, we are going to leave it right there for everybody. AJ, it's been fantastic talking wrestling with you, especially on your birthday days. Fee, I will see you on Friday.
You will indeed.
And I will probably be back tomorrow because I've got to do a SmackDown review at some point tomorrow when I get a spare 45 minutes. Until then, guys, I bid you good night and good afternoon to AJ. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.